She was perfect, until she wasn't. Designer outfits, successful career, the way she looked at me like I was her everything. 6 months later, I was in therapy. My bank account was drained, and my friends, well, I didn't have any friends left. Here's the crazy part. All the signs were there from day one. I just didn't want to see them. Today, I'm going to reveal 9 red flags in women that could save your life. And trust me, number 7 is happening to you right now, even if you think you're the exception. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why the most toxic relationships often start as perfect ones? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. And if you recognize more than 3 of these red flags, brother, we need to talk. Let's dive into the first red flag. And this one? It's probably in your phone right now. Red flag number 1. The validation vampire. Picture this. You're out having dinner. The food arrives, but before you can take a bite, she's rearranging the table, adjusting the lighting, taking 15 different angles of her plate. Sound familiar? But this isn't about social media. This is about something much deeper. Here's what's really happening. She posts every achievement, no matter how small. Her Instagram story never ends. She gets anxious when a post doesn't get enough likes. Every moment needs to be captured. But here's the psychological twist most men miss. This isn't just attention-seeking behavior. This is a dangerous pattern of external validation addiction. And here's why it destroys relationships. First, you'll never compete with the dopamine hit of 1,000 likes. Never. Second, these women aren't living in the same reality as you. They're living in a curated highlight reel. Third, and this is crucial, they're not just addicted to attention, they're addicted to new attention. Let me prove it. Notice how her posting frequency increases during your arguments? That's not coincidence, brother. That's fishing for backup options. Red flag number 2, the past collector. We're just friends. The 3 words that have destroyed more relationships than I love you. I'm talking about the woman who keeps all her exes around like Pokemon cards. But here's what makes this red flag so dangerous. It often disguises itself as emotional maturity. I'm mature enough to be friends with my exes. We ended on good terms. He's like a brother to me now. Let me translate these phrases for you. I'm mature enough to be friends. I need backup options. We ended on good terms. We might not be done. He's like a brother. We still have history that will affect your relationship. Here's the brutal truth about past collectors. 1. They're never fully emotionally available. 2. They're addicted to the attention of multiple men. 3. They're keeping their options open while limiting yours. 4. They'll use these friendships as leverage during your arguments. Red flag number 3, the financial chameleon. This one's subtle, but it could cost you everything. Literally. Watch how she handles money when she thinks you're not paying attention. I'm not talking about who pays for dates. I'm talking about her relationship with money itself. Warning signs that you're dealing with a financial chameleon. She has expensive taste but no savings. Her lifestyle exceeds her income. She shows more interest in your career potential than your current situation. She subtly compares your spending to other men's. Her emergencies always have dollar signs attached. But here's the dangerous part. Financial chameleons are expert investors. They invest time and affection early, expecting exponential returns later. Red flag number 4, the emotional terrorist. This is where it gets real. The emotional terrorist specializes in two things. One, making you feel responsible for her feelings. Two, making her feelings your emergency. Signs you're dealing with an emotional terrorist. She threatens self-harm when things don't go her way. Her emotions always trump yours. She creates crises when you have important events. She uses past traumas as weapons. She punishes you with silence, then blames you for not understanding. Here's why this is more dangerous than you think. Got it? Here's an expanded and engaging take on red flags 4 to 8. Red flag number 4. The empathy manipulator. This one dives deep. The empathy manipulator knows exactly how to use emotions, not for connection, but as a weapon to control you. Recognize her approach. She'll share intense personal stories early on, drawing you in with vulnerability. She'll tell you about her painful past, her traumas, her betrayals, all to plant an unspoken message. If you care about her, you'll treat her carefully, give her what she needs, make up for others who didn't. And from there, her needs start to eclipse your own. She'll use your own empathy against you. Your personal successes? She might say they make her feel left behind or even abandoned. Spending time with friends? Suddenly they're threats to the relationship. Setting boundaries? Now your simple self-respect hurts her feelings. Consider David's story. He began dating a woman who confided in him about her lifelong struggle with anxiety. David was compassionate, thoughtful, and always made space for her feelings. But soon his friends started to notice how isolated he'd become. If David wanted a night out, she'd say his absence made her feel vulnerable. If he stayed late at work, she'd text him, saying she needed his presence for her peace of mind. Even minor frustrations he expressed, they triggered her, and he quickly learned to stifle his own emotions just to keep hers at bay. David became the emotional hostage, conditioned to believe that his basic needs were toxic. That's the trap of the empathy manipulator. She makes caring for yourself feel like a betrayal. Red flag. 5. The selective strong woman. The selective strong woman prides herself on being fiercely independent and self-sufficient. But there's a catch. Her strength comes with conditions, and those conditions always favor her. She's strong and independent when it's about freedom or control. She can manage on her own and doesn't need anyone's help until a responsibility or problem surfaces. Suddenly she becomes traditional, looking to you to take charge. When it's time to split a bill, her independence fades. When it's time to face accountability, now it's a partnership. Let's put it this way. Her independence becomes a convenience switch, only flipped on when it benefits her. If you dare to suggest she's being unfair, she'll paint it as an attack on her empowerment, twisting your words to make you feel guilty for questioning her. Imagine if she tells you she doesn't need anyone to open doors for her. She's her own person. But as soon as a tough decision comes along, she values your guidance and expects you to lead. What starts as equal footing shifts to you carrying the load. This push and pull, the selective independence, keeps you second-guessing what she truly wants. It leaves you walking a line between support and servitude, while her needs always seem to come first. Red flag. 6. The reality architect. The reality architect doesn't just bend the truth, she completely rewrites it. This type is psychological warfare wrapped in charm, leaving you questioning your own memory, your experiences, even your grip on reality. It starts small. Conversations you remember having. She'll say they never happened. Events you clearly recall. She'll tell you they were completely different. Slowly, this trickle of rewritten history grows, and the more you push back, the more convincing she becomes. One day, you may find yourself wondering if you really said or did what you think you did. She'll convince you that every concern you have is all in your head. Even with proof, she'll gaslight you, saying things like, "I never said that," or "You're misremembering again." Think of it as being in a house of mirrors, where every conversation, memory, or argument gets distorted. You feel yourself slipping, constantly trying to defend your perception, until she's built a reality where she's always right, and you're the one constantly doubting. In the end, a reality architect doesn't just manipulate situations, she alters the very foundation of your self-trust. Red flag number 7. The accountability assassin. If you're with an accountability assassin, get ready for a roller coaster of deflection. She's a master of shifting blame and turning every situation on its head so that she never has to take responsibility. Let's say she makes a mistake. Maybe she broke a promise, or perhaps she said something hurtful. An apology? Not quite. Instead, she'll tell you, "I'm sorry you feel that way," subtly making you the problem. Or she'll add, "If you hadn't done X, I wouldn't have had to do Y." Suddenly, her actions are your fault. If she betrays your trust, it's because you were too insecure or not attentive enough. In a twisted way, her apologies keep you chasing accountability that never fully arrives. She becomes an escape artist, dodging every attempt to be held to the same standard she holds you. Imagine a scenario where you express hurt feelings, and her response is, "Why do you always need an apology?" She makes you feel like you're overreacting, convincing you that your desire for honesty and respect is unreasonable. Over time, you may find yourself apologizing for even bringing up an issue, taking on her faults as if they're your own. Red flag number 8. The competitive partner. This isn't healthy competition. It's a covert rivalry that leaves you feeling constantly one-upped. The competitive partner isn't content to celebrate your wins. Instead, she views your accomplishments as threats, making your every success feel like a loss to her. Let's say you land a promotion. She'll respond with her own win story that somehow overshadows yours. Or she'll quickly shift focus to someone she knows who has achieved even more, subtly making you feel as though you haven't done enough. It goes beyond comparison. She'll remind you of other couples who seem to have it all, using their lives as a yardstick to measure your worth. When it becomes too much and you ask her why she's constantly comparing, she'll tell you she's just motivating you or wanting the best for both of you. In reality, her constant need to win chips away at your confidence. She's not invested in mutual growth. She's preoccupied with always staying a step ahead. And while you're trying to build a partnership, she's competing for control. These are signs not of love, but of manipulation. Relationships designed to take without giving, to control rather than connect. Recognizing these traits is the first step toward finding relationships that are built on genuine care, respect, and shared growth. Red flag number 9, the accountability assassin. This is the most dangerous red flag because it makes all other problems unsolvable. The accountability assassin has mastered the art of never being wrong. Watch for these deadly signs. She can explain away any bad behavior. Her apologies always include "but." She turns your feelings into your flaws. She rewrites history to fit her narrative. She makes you apologize for her mistakes. Here's the truth about red flags. They don't go away. They don't improve with time. They don't change with love. They only become more expensive to ignore. If you recognized more than 3 of these flags in your relationship, it's time for a serious conversation, not with her, but with yourself. Drop a comment below with red flag and the number that hit closest to home. Share this with a brother who needs to hear it. Sometimes the most loyal thing a friend can do is tell you what you don't want to hear. Remember, the right woman will never make you question your sanity, your worth, or your reality. She'll add to your life, not drain it. And if you're wondering whether you should show this to your girl, brother, that reaction you're imagining right now, that's red flag number 10.